Hello, can you hear me?
Hey,
Hey, how's it going?
good. It's so good to see you.
It's good to see you too.
Well, thanks so much for being here today, Jules. You guys, this is Jules from Rover It, and she has been dog training for ballpark about 20 years or so. And you've been into animals your entire life, from my understanding, correct?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
Yeah. When did you just because I'm nosy, when did you have, were you born into a family of animals, or did you have to beg your family for animals?
Into a family of animals. I
Yeah, not like if you were born in the Jungle Book raised by wolves.
um no, I don't think I ever asked for a dog. I think that we just got a dog at one point when I was about 9 years old, and that dog became my first dog to train, and I taught her every trick in the book. I taught her how to sneeze on command. I taught her all your basic tricks, roll over, play dead, whatever. And then a bunch of random weird stuff like balancing things on her head and whatever I could think
That's
of. I was a
awesome.
kid.
How old were you when you started doing that?
9.
Oh, you just said that, didn't you? I don't know. Yeah, that's I heard if you spend like 2 hours straight training a dog that they'll learn a trick. I guess I should ask you, how long does it typically take?
It really depends on the dog, and it depends on how well the dog understands the learning process. Um, so, I mean, first off, I would never want to spend 2 hours trying to drill a dog into doing something because they're going to get bored and eventually they're not going to want to do it. But if you spent 2 hours in 5-minute sections over the course of however many days it takes you to get to 2 hours, then you're onto something. Then you can definitely teach all kinds of things that way. Are you wondering how much time it takes to teach any one particular behavior? Or?
Yeah, it sounds like it'll vary. I'm just curious. I'm just like, what kind of dog was your first dog?
Oh, she was an American Eskimo.
Cute.
The little white poofy dogs. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, cute.
Yeah.
That's adorable. We had I don't know if you've ever seen one of these, but we had a Commodore growing
Oh
up.
yeah, they're cool.
Yeah, they're crazy big.
Yeah.
We didn't teach him tricks. We just tried to keep him from jumping the fence mostly.
Okay, yeah, that would make sense. They're pretty
Yeah.
energetic, serious dogs.
Yeah. I guess we should
Oh,
talk about those serious things, because that's kind of the reason why I brought you here today. There's a lot of misconceptions with getting dogs like that, like super energetic dogs that maybe you're not ready for, or I don't know, getting a dog just before you're ready.
for
So
sure.
yeah, sorry, I should let you take over the conversation. I'm trying to think of what my first question was, and I have them all scattered. But we had some people that wanted to kind of chime in and ask you some things too.
Oh,
Um,
great.
so I guess the first one in the same, because I thought maybe you just start training a dog like as soon as you can. How old do you start dog training? Like ASAP or?
Yeah, as soon as possible, but different ages of dogs are going to be able to catch on to different things. It just kind of depends on what you are teaching. So like with a little baby puppy that's 8 weeks old, I'm not going to focus on teaching commands like sit, down, stay, all those kinds of things, because at that age, it's way more important to teach things like how to teach the puppy to pay attention to you,
Yeah.
how to get the puppy's attention, housebreaking, getting them used to your daily routine. Those things are way more important for a
Yeah.
little baby puppy.
Makes sense, because I mean, my viewers are moms, so we should understand that you're not going to try to teach a toddler algebra right now. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah, so that kind of leads me into my next question. Bringing pets into the household, what are some things that you should know before getting your dog?
Before bringing a dog into your house. Do you mean like physically bringing a dog into your house?
Physically,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. So, boy, there are a lot of variables there, especially if you have kids. But if you're going to be getting a new dog, when it comes to bringing the dog into your house, well, so the first thing is you're going to want to make sure that you have the dog on leash.
I guess it was a very specific.
Can we back up a little bit?
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. Because I'm thinking about this and I'm like, God, there's just so much that goes through that.
Let's back up. Okay. What to consider when buying your dog? Because I kind of mentioned it before. You're going to, like, if I live in an apartment, I'm probably not going to want a super energetic dog that needs a lot of room. So.
For sure. Yeah. So first off, the first thing to consider is always your own personal energy level or your own family's energy level. If you are a couch potato, if you're not somebody who just normally gets out and takes walks or runs or hikes or gets out and is active, you need that in a dog. You need a couch potato dog that can be a couch potato with you. If you, should I rephrase that?
Well, it's a good example. So I'll kind of expand on that. My old roommate hikes and runs a lot, like love to death, but a lot. So, but his dog also very active with him. He is a very muscular dog and just is able to do that kind of thing. And whenever he leaves out of town, his dog is so accustomed to running and exercising so much, he will whine. If we're house sitting him, he whines at me to go take him running for an hour. I'm like, I have asthma, kid. Like, we'll die. My dog is a little tiny little dog, so she doesn't need as much, and we have a pretty big yard, so she gets a lot of that from there, and then a good walk here and there, and she's tired out. But I don't think that I could keep up with my old roommate's dog at all, and that's just what he wants to do all the time.
Oh yeah, for sure. A lot of people get sucked into what they see on TV, what they see in movies, as if the dogs on screen are trainable and they're cool, but you have to take into account they're working with trainers.
Yeah.
And as a trainer, training is what I do all day, right? So I have the time to spend with a crazy dog, whereas somebody who has a 9 to 5 and watches Netflix when they come home probably isn't going to be a suitable home for a high energy dog.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So energy needs are super important to take a look at there. When it comes to, you were asking about kids and families and what kinds of dogs people should be looking for there. So with kids, it's especially important to make sure to not get a dog that is going to be so high energy and boisterous that it's knocking your kids over, or that it's too much to handle when you have to handle your kids. That's a big one that I see. So.
And there's a lot of stigma around having to rehome your dog and when it's not a good fit, and so that's why it's important that when you're getting your dog, I've owned a lot of dogs in my time, and wait, that sounds bad. That sounds like I rehomed a bunch of dogs. I would say the pit bull was the hardest decision, and even more so making that decision to get my pit bull. I knew beforehand if you're renting, there's breed restrictions. That's just how it is. And kind of something that I know that there's I'm trying to think of another breed that was on that list. I can't
probably Rottweilers.
Yeah. And so there's a certain restriction with that, but also when I had to rehome, so it turned into a situation where I had to rehome her and she wasn't getting along with the other dog. And it was like, I had my dog and then my kids had their dog, and my dog was being super aggressive to this dog. And when I had to rehome her, it was even more complicated because she didn't like little kids. Like, for some reason, kids that were her height just wasn't doing it. And of course, these aren't things that I ever consider. And it kind of turned into a weird situation in my situation, because the little dog and her did get along at first, and she was actually raised with other dogs, and so she didn't have a different kind of dog aggression, but it progressed. And so of course there's that the awful stigma, you know, the whole rehoming your dog and everything, and it really did suck. I'm kind of getting off a subject with that. I feel so guilty even talking about it now. But what ended up happening, and that it was so specific, I wrote, this was around Thanksgiving, Christmas time, I wrote like 100+ people and just said, I have a free dog for you. She's gold. She's the best dog in the world, which I know there's a lot of like, that's scary giving, especially a pit bull away to a free dog. Some people, there's hate groups for pit bulls, some people's kids. So I found her a really good home. And after talking to so many people, I found her the best home. And it's a lucky story where, you know, she is now with somebody so she's a rescue dog. And now her new owner is at home all the time because she's a stay-at-home mom. And this dog just loves to be right next to you. She's an only dog home. So there's no other dogs. And then the youngest child there is about 8. I think he's 8 now. And she does fine with kids. She doesn't do good with toddlers. So just like one of those really unique situations where that dog needed a specific home. And I think that every family is the same way. They need a specific dog.
For sure. And when you're talking about toddlers versus versus older kids, so toddlers are grabby, right? They want to grab, they want to come up and roll around with whatever they're interacting with. And that makes a lot of dogs uncomfortable. And so that can be a reason for dogs displaying aggression toward small children. I'm not saying that it's okay, but you know, it's definitely something to consider, whether or not your kids are able to be around dogs and not engage in those kinds of behaviors.
Or if the dog is tolerant of it, you know, because I'm sure there's breeds that do better with those type, or just a dog in general. I can't imagine a dog that came from being rescued being, you know, with a toddler doing that. Some might not be.
And the problem with that kind of situation is it's not like rescues evaluate their dogs with kids. Right? So
I know like they do like the hand food test thing to kind of test that out.
It's a fake hand.
Yeah, exactly. It's yeah. And I've been in that situation with dogs where they've passed that and they've been more aggressive later on. So it's and that's kind of why, side note, because I still feel guilty about my story, my dog went on to reading the little boy seizures that like I rehomed him to. So
awesome.
I think she kind of found her purpose in life. So I feel a lot better about the situation, but kind of, I'm just like defending myself on film. It was a terrible time, but in all honesty, as a mom, I was looking at it like my dog or my son's dog, like, what do I do? And
right. So, well, I mean, kind of, sort of, but I think, along with everything you're saying, so right here is a really good place to talk about what you should be looking for when you're looking for a particular breed to fit in with your life. Pit bulls in particular take a lot of responsibility. They are a breed that can be predisposed to dog aggression. And so that's something to think about when you are working on figuring out what kind of dog you should have in your life.
Yeah. And that's not to say that pit bulls are bad, you guys. That's just to say like pit bulls are strong. It would be really naive of me to say that that a big dog can't, you know, pull me or something. Like it just is what it is. They're
include this or not, whatever. But the thing with pit bulls in particular is there is a lot of nature versus nurture conversation going on about pit bulls. It's all about how you raise them. It's not. Genetics play a huge part in what a dog is.
Yeah.
And you can't deny the pit bull's history when it comes to looking at whether or not you can handle that dog if that's what it becomes.
Right.
That's a really, really important thing. And we're seeing, so I work with Malinois, right? Malinois they used to be a herding breed, but in the early 1900s, people started breeding them for bite work. And now that's primarily what they're bred for. And people are starting to see them on TV. They're starting to see them in the media, right? There were Malinois in John Wick. There were, the Malinois is the dog that took down Bin Laden, so on. And they see these dogs and they're like, wow, that is the kind of protector that I want in my life. What they don't realize is Malinois are an extremely high energy dog, number one. Number two, they want to bite.
Yeah.
So taking a dog that wants to bite, that is genetically driven to bite, and putting that dog in a family with kids and expecting it to be a house dog can be a pretty severe recipe for disaster. So when you're looking for a dog, if you are not working a dog or planning on working the dog, don't get a working dog.
Yeah.
Get a dog that fits your lifestyle and your needs. If you're looking for a couch potato dog, find a breeder who breeds couch potato dogs, or go to the shelter and make sure that you're picking that kind of dog before you take the dog home.
Yeah.
Puppies are really cute, and puppies are also unassuming, right? You don't think about that little tiny puppy becoming a big giant, in the Malinois case, a bitey dog.
Yeah, well, let's talk about Joe Exotic for a minute and his entire, like his whole entire business scheme. You have baby cats, but as soon as they're big cats, they're expensive. It's in their genetics to bite. Like
they're hunting. They're wild animals that hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, and I'm not trying to make our whole conversation about pit bulls, but I mean, it kind of goes with that whole age thing that we talked about earlier. Like, obviously, if your whole family is more grown and your kids are teenagers, like, great. Like a pit bull could be a good fit for you guys. But let's be honest, if somebody breaks into your home, you don't know what that pit bull's going to do. That they're going to react how they're instinctively supposed to react. And your training means nothing in a flight or fight situation, or in another dog when you're walking down the street and another dog attacks your dog. Maybe your dog acts a certain way, but instinctively, like, this is just what they're built to do. Damage is like their jaws. That's what they're known for.
Sure. I wouldn't say that all, not all pit bulls have guarding instincts. But
I guess my last pit bull would run away. If somebody had came into the house, they would. But I just mean in this scenario, like, if a dog bites you, and I don't know what triggered it. Like, let's just say that they have to bite you in any situation.
Okay.
Pit bull is just naturally gonna do more damage. And it's just
absolutely
their instinct.
Yeah, because they've been bred to not just bite, but bite, hold on, bite all the way back to the molars. That's all genetics.
Not even genetic. I mean, they've it's called lockjaw, something like that. Yeah.
No, well, so lockjaw is kind of a misnomer, right? That's a big myth, right?
Is it good? Okay, yeah, help me.
No dog just locks its jaws and holds on. But I mean, that biting style, that full mouth grip and hold, that is genetic. There are certainly dogs that don't have that. So, for example, if you look at golden retrievers, they have been bred to have a soft mouth where they hold on to things very, very lightly, because what were they bred for? They were bred to go and retrieve birds, and we didn't want them puncturing the birds. So the dogs with the softer mouths were the ones that we bred. So yeah, genetics play a huge role in what
humans are so interesting. We just breed a bunch of dogs. We're like, this one's we're gonna mix this one with this one a little bit, because I just want to see how this works out. I think this will be good for my bird hunting skill. That's not how like it all happened, but Humans are interesting. Yeah. Okay. That's
Yeah,
a
for sure.
whole nother subject. Sorry.
No, don't. Yeah, it is really neat. I mean, this is what the largest selective breeding project planet Earth has ever seen. Pretty cool.
That's true. That's true. And
Pretty interesting.
so what would you recommend for a family dog? Like I mean, I guess you're not like you're training dogs, but I mean, if you
Yeah.
could, if someone comes up to you and asks this question specifically, you're like, this dog might be a little too crazy for you. What would you go towards?
So as far as breeds are concerned, or as far as what to look for in a specific dog?
Breeds.
So as far as breeds are concerned, I mean, the golden retriever is really like the perfect family dog. Um, they have that soft mouth. They're super sociable dogs. I never see golden retrievers for aggression or any kind of social behavioral issues. And they don't tend to run away either. They don't tend to have like neighborhood wandering issues or escape issues or anything like that. They don't digging maybe, but golden retrievers in particular are just exceptional family dogs. That's part of why the golden doodle is so popular. They're very responsive, biddable, easy to maintain dogs. I mean, Labradors are really popular too, which is great. Labradors do have a little bit more energy overall than golden retrievers. Typically, they also smell a little bit more. You have to be okay with doggy smell, and they tend to be bigger dogs.
You better be okay with doggy smell if you're getting a dog. You better be okay with that better be your favorite scent.
But there are definitely dogs that don't have doggy smell too. A lot of your northern breeds don't tend to have it as much.
There's some dogs that you touch and you're like, ooh, you're a lot of dog.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Labradors just have that, they have that oily coat, and that just seems to take in all of everything around them. Let's see. As far as family dogs, Brittany Spaniels are awesome. Have you ever seen one of those?
Spaniel? No.
So Brittany Spaniels they're a white and red spotted dog. They're pretty small. They're maybe like 40 pounds. But they're super sweet, super fun dogs. And just like the golden retriever, they have that soft mouth, so they really don't bite hard. They don't typically have aggression issues or anything.
They're so cute.
They're super cute. I really wish that more people would get into those instead of getting into the more aggressive breeds.
This is so cute.
Yeah.
It's my new dog. So my family doesn't even I thought my family would be so stoked when I was deciding to get another dog, and my son's like, no, we've got one good dog. Like, are you my child? Like, super cute. I'm glad you love your dog, but we need more.
How many?
You know what? I will let you know when my heart is full enough. I've decided that I'm gonna throw a puppy palooza at my house. Bring your own puppy.
Okay, great.
Or I mean, not an actual like puppy, but like dogs have to be like get along with other dogs.
Okay.
This could be a great idea or a bad idea.
It could be both.
Also, bring your own meat too, because I don't want to buy all the meat. But
for barbecuing or for feeding the dogs?
Oh, barbecuing.
Okay.
Yeah, feed your dogs before you come.
Okay.
Bring your own water bowls. I'm just spouting out ideas. I'm pretty sure I want a Brittany Spaniel now.
Yeah, they're super cute. Super fun dogs.
Do you get a lot of people that kind of already have the family and get the dog and they're like, now what do I do?
Oh, everybody.
Everybody.
Most people do not come to me and go, what kind of dog should I get, before they get the dog. And so that's probably why I have a job. You don't have to include that. You can if you want to.
No, that's great.
But seriously,
yeah, That's why we have this conversation, because let's be honest, when you do rehome your dog, and I bring up my story, not because, I mean, obviously I'm not very proud of it. It's a hard situation. And in fact, me and the lady that we rehomed her with, we're very close. I get pictures all the time. I get videos all the time. And as much as like I get a little tear here and there, I can't go visit her. Like I wish I could. I wish, but from what I know, and I feel like also what I've sugarcoated, like I'm gonna cry right now. I loved her so much, and I love her still so much. The first like 2 nights were a little rough for her, and like I couldn't go back and visit her because these are forever friends. And the videos, and just like, you know, the big cats and Joe Exotic, like those, it's so mean that we're feeding them expired meat. Like they deserve a lot more. So it is a good conversation to have. And luckily there's trainers like you that can come in and intercept, you know, when it's not working out too much, and bring light to the situation.
For sure.
But yeah, rehoming your dog is scary, and it sucks really bad. So, you know, if we can try to help people before they get there, it's good. But it's also great that you're here, because I'm sure you turn around a lot of situations as most trainers do. So
Yeah. So I think so earlier you were kind of asking like what should you, well, you were asking how to bring a dog home, but you know, when it comes to getting a dog initially, I think it's really important to know what you should be prepared for, how to prepare for that. So picking a dog is one thing, right? But then also, you know, you should have money in savings when you get a dog. You don't know if you're going to have vet bills, training costs, buying all of the equipment that
there's
comes
pet
with
insurance too.
owning a dog, pet insurance.
Yeah.
It's, and you know, I see a lot of people who go out and get a dog on a whim because they want companionship. Like I totally understand where they're coming from there, but it's a responsibility like any other. It's really important to make sure that you have things set aside so that you're ready to go when you get a dog. So some of those things might be like, for example, it's really important to get a kennel. I know that, you know, it's not like everybody wants to kennel train their dogs, but at the same time, a kennel is going to keep your house safe when you're gone. If you get a dog that's a chewer,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Or keep your dog safe. Maybe your dog could get hurt somehow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kennel training is really important. You never know if, you know, if your dog gets injured and has to stay overnight at the vet. If you have a dog that's kennel trained and is comfortable in a kennel, that dog's going to go right in that kennel and fall asleep, and everything's going to be okay. And that dog's going to heal faster. A dog that's not kennel trained, you might end up with more problems. So kennel training is great. It also helps a ton when it comes to housebreaking. And it just helps enforce boundaries. So I love using kennels. I think that's a really important thing for people to buy and be prepared for. It's really important to have a little bit of a savings account. Again, you never know if you're going to have something that you need to take the dog to the vet for, whether it be shots or microchips, or if something happens, you know, it's always good to be prepared there.
Yeah. My dog one time, fun story. So I'm trying to remember the combination this came in. She got sick where she was pooping blood. And immediately, and I'm a disgusting mom. So I'm like, okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to pick up some of the sample with us and take it to the vet. So I'm not wasting time, and I'm going straight to the vet with my dog, and got that resolved, put her on some antibiotics. When we were leaving the vet, she got kennel cough from another dog there. And so then and like, you know, the vet, and then she comes home and she gives it to my roommate's dogs, and we just go and get a prescription. So that was, and each time, this is almost, I'm just kind of round, but it's over $100. And then the next time, She cuts her foot. And none of this is funny, just how much money I was spending as a single mom during this time and because I want companionship. Like I'm trying to be a hard, independent single mom and sleep with just my dog and take care of my stuff. So it just cost me so much money. And not me, my roommate, I was at work and I got the call that she sliced her tendon open on her back foot. And she's bleeding everywhere. Like this is like emergency fast. So this one was the breaker. This one was only almost $500. So emergency surgery. And we really think like she could have bled out. It was so bad. So, and then of course, after that, now she has a pre-existing condition. So there's some pet insurance that won't take her, or the surgery that she needed is a little bit more expensive. Just all the weird legalities that come with that. But all of those things happened in less than 60 days of each other. It wasn't even a full 2 months. It was like maybe 6 weeks between each incident. And to somebody who lives paycheck to paycheck, that is 3 paychecks, 2 paychecks, like not a lot. And then so it's important to have insurance for your pets. It's important to have, one time my son dropped some medicine that the dog ate that she couldn't have. And I called the vet and I told them what kind of medication it was. And they're like, all right, you better get her in here. So we took her there, and of course her organs are all flaring up, but that's my baby. It's my puppy. So yeah, that's expensive. Just a little fun little story for you guys.
For sure. Did she make it through?
She did. Yeah. All my dogs are alive. Everybody's good.
Okay, good. Yeah.
That morning, I felt so bad for my son. I'm just like, all right, grab the dog. Let's get in the car. And he like, we're ready for school. We're about to go. And he's like, are we going? And it's like, you're late for school. Like, we're just going to the vet's office. It's like, dude, sorry. So
yeah.
It's and luckily the time before that, when the other dog had cut her foot, I'm super fortunate to have roommates that he was self-employed at the time. So luckily, he can say, sorry, boss, or sorry, crew, where like I'm going here. And I was fortunate enough to have a good boss at the time that I could get up and leave and get her the medical attention that she needed. But had I not had anything in savings, those vet clinics aren't playing. Like they need their money. So
I mean, it's a hospital for animals, know, and it's expensive to do what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I should I offer a baseline? Like you should have about $2,000 in savings when you buy a dog.
Yeah, no, that's a good base. I mean, people, we talk about it with kids, like how much you should have in savings before you have kids.
Yeah.
We talk about these things all the time, so it makes sense.
And that's excluding the cost of the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just because if anything happens, you're covered. You're going to be able to pay for all of your equipment, whether that be training, feeding, whatever you need. That's a really good baseline. So
it's a big responsibility. So
yeah.
So what are some things to kind of look for? We didn't cover this, but so of course we all love rescue dogs. That's where my heart goes. But that doesn't always, some people do want dogs to grow up with their children, and we are buying puppies. So have you ever heard of? I heard a crazy story the other day, but have you ever heard of like a crazy breeder story? Is there something to look out for in breed? Like I know the business, like again, Joe Exotic, let's talk about like, there's probably some things to look out for in those situations.
Oh, for sure. I mean, right now the big thing is all of these designer breeds, right? Somebody takes a golden and a poodle and they make a golden doodle or whatever. And the thing is, these people are just, all they're doing is taking 2 dogs and mixing the name and then charging $2,000 to $3,000 for a puppy.
Yeah.
And most of these people don't do health checks. which is really, really, really important when it comes to purebred dogs, because a purebred dog is a genetically bottlenecked animal. So if you don't do genetic testing, the chances of getting recessive genes that match up and create a condition like von Willebrand's or degenerative myelopathy or whatever have you, the chances of those genes meeting up is way higher, right?
Yeah.
And when people are checking things, you're paying a lot of money for a puppy that might have hip dysplasia at 4 years old, for a puppy that might, yeah. So, so genetic testing is really, really important. When you're looking for a particular breed, know what the breed needs to be health tested for, and make sure that that breeder is getting those health tests done. And don't just ask them and get a yes or no answer. Like, look it up. There are databases. The OFA database is searchable. Anybody can get on there and search dogs in that database. So you can actually go in and check and make sure this breeder is doing everything that they're saying that they're doing. If you're going to go with a purebred breeder, and if you're going to spend a lot of money, or if you're going to go with even a mixed breeder, make sure that they're doing genetic testing and health testing. Super important.
Yeah, that's a super crazy thought. I didn't even think about that, because of course I'm like, oh, if it works, it works. But you don't think about you're going to make a mutated dog with or possibly be buying one. I mean, they just look cute, but they could possibly have, I mean, we think about that with we get our blood taken when we're pregnant to make sure that we don't have something that we need to start treating now or have to be aware of before we have the baby. So it's totally makes sense that you'd look into that for your dog. And of course, me is I like to stay ignorant to these topics a little bit when I'm interviewing the people. So I did not look up anything on dog training. I mean, obviously, I've looked up a few things because I've had dogs, but I don't know that you could genetically mess up a dog.
Yeah. It's, I mean, when purebred dogs tend to be pretty close populations, that are only getting smaller and smaller. And so when you're dealing with that, you're dealing with a lot of recessive genes, and that's what makes a purebred dog what it is, right?
Yeah.
A lot of what you're seeing in a purebred dog is expressed recessive genes. So things that we have sort of pulled out of the gene pool to create that particular animal, right?
And there's one dog that comes to mind right now for me. It's not the French bulldog. A bulldog. I think it's just a bulldog. But he, I mean, by 4 years old ish, he was pretty young. And my friend's parents were already having some known health issues of his because that just came with his breed.
Okay.
And yeah, that's a pretty big thing to think about, because when you get your dog, of course, when we have children, we sign up for anything. Our kids,
for sure,
is sick. We don't just give them up for adoption. We're sorry, they're having seizures now, so we're just bye. Sure. We can't deal with this. But I could feel that a lot of people in situations, if you have 3 kids and you just can't afford a dog with health problems, that could possibly lead to rehoming a dog. So that's
yeah. Yeah, that's great.
I feel like there's something else I really wanted to ask you before I got off of here.
Let's see. We were talking about what to look for in, should I go over what to look for in adoption situations, rescue situations? Because that's really tough.
Yes, let's talk about that. And then I also really quick want to talk about training your dog, with a collar or something, a shot collar or whatnot. Your thoughts on those?
like the pros and cons. Do you
Yeah.
want me to get a shock collar and turn it on and like shock myself and show you guys that it's okay?
Oh my God, do you do that? Have you done that?
Yeah, I might. I don't know if I actually have any charge because I haven't been using them lately. But let me just set. Let me go see.
I feel like I'm about to witness something crazy.
Well, that could be fun.
I don't know. My friend got tasered in the police academy and he squealed.
Did he? That sounds like a good time. Okay, let's see.
I can't believe I'm going to let you do this.
So, okay. These are the e-collars that I use.
Okay.
And so dogs are actually really, really, really sensitive. They can feel things. They can feel significantly less stimulation than we can. And so the kind of e-collars that I use are actually so sensitive that I can't seem to feel them at the level that the dogs can feel them at. So typically, when I'm working with a dog, I'm going to work with probably up to a level 5. This goes up to a level 100. Can you read that?
No, but I'm just
Okay.
it looks so intense. Okay, it's a level
Okay.
5.
So it's a level 5. Can you see that?
Yeah, no,
okay.
I can. Yeah, level 5.
Okay. So it goes up to a level 100. My dogs actually listen to a level 2.
Okay.
I'm gonna bump myself on a level 2, and the way that you're gonna know that I'm activating it is it's gonna flash red. So I've got it on my palm, and it's gonna flash red. Okay, level 2.
Does that mean, is it shocking you when it's red?
It's shocking me when it's red. I'm not feeling anything.
Okay, I'm so dramatic.
Huh. Most dogs are gonna feel level 5. So it's at a level 5. I don't know if you can read that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So I'm bumping myself. I'm not feeling anything.
Oh, you're not? Okay.
Nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Most dogs, that's what they feel. I'm going to move it up to a level 10. This is some dogs. Some dogs need a level 10. I don't know if you
Don't do it, Jules. Don't do it.
Let's go. And I didn't flinch or anything. I didn't feel anything.
Dude, okay. But the dogs can feel that.
The dogs actually feel level 10 pretty strongly generally.
Okay.
I'm going to go to a level 20. I'm going to go until I feel it.
Okay, yeah. That's okay. Yeah. Tell me where you feel it.
Okay, so it's at a level 20. And I felt it there.
See your eye twitch.
Oh, you want to see my eye twitch? I had to get my eye to twitch. So that was a level 20. Here's a level 30.
Oh my gosh. Ooh.
Yikes. And okay. It kind of just feels like a tap. It doesn't, some collars will buzz, and I don't like that sensation, but these just feel like a tap.
Yeah.
Should I do a 40? Just so you know that it's
No,
safe?
I'm so scared. What if you like fall over on film?
Okay, ready? 40.
Okay, go.
Woo!
Whoa!
Yikes.
Okay, no more.
Okay. And I'm pretty sensitive. Like I've had people over who have tried them out, and they'll go up to 100, and it's finally 100 that they maybe have an eye twitch or something.
Do you have any owners that are like, let me try it out? I
make everybody try it out, actually.
Nice.
I want people to feel it. I want people to know that it is humane. The e-collar gets a really bad rap, and it's unfortunate because it's actually a really amazing command-giving tool. Dogs communicate through touch, and so it's a lot easier for them to understand things through feeling those taps rather than having to listen to words that are coming out of my mouth.
So what about somebody who is training? Because I'm trying to think of the person who this would be. Let me stop and compute this thought. Because it sounds really dark to say that they would just sit there and like electrocute them over and over and over. Because like I think that there could be a wrong way to train the dog. Maybe.
With an e-collar?
Yeah.
Absolutely. But there are wrong ways to use anything, right? Like you can use a leash the wrong way by yanking a dog around.
That's
You
fair.
can use even harnesses. You have to be careful about what harness you use. So there are harnesses out there that restrict the movement of the dog to prevent the dog from running. The problem with those harnesses, though, is that prolonged use of them can actually cause arthritis.
I
So,
can see that.
um, but appropriately using tools. I mean, well, what am I trying to say here? So, any tool can be abused, even food,
Right.
right? You see, like a dog that is obese is getting too much of a good thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's I'm watching a lot of, it's like airplanes could be used for good things or going into the side of buildings. I'm really not this dark. I just recently
Yeah.
saw a
No,
documentary.
that's
So,
there you
but
go.
it is true. Like tools of any kind can be used for good things or bad things or
Absolutely.
the
Yeah.
wrong way.
Yeah.
Um, have you seen the noise maker things?
The little yeah, like the buzzers that people put on fence posts and stuff to prevent dogs from barking.
Are the electric? Or is it it makes wait, people put those, that's the first time I've heard about this because I'm talking about the, yeah, you can like hit the little remote and it makes a noise that the dogs don't like and then
Okay.
the
Yeah.
dogs like react to it, but that would be really cruel to just go outside and put on a fence whenever your neighbor's dog starts barking.
Exactly. I mean, it depends on the dog and how noise sensitive they are. But yeah, I mean, like these colors do have a tone option. Um, I don't, I don't use it. I don't think this one even. Yeah, it's not emitting a tone. It's emitting a vibration. Um, but as far as using tones, I guess what you're asking there is
Well, I guess I was
like
just
when you
asking, like, do you use it? Do you think it's effective? Do you, I mean, obviously, shot collars are humane and they work in training. And just like we said, like they could be used poorly, they could be used good. I mean, same thing with this other tool. So just what you
okay.
think of them and yeah.
So, I mean, when it comes to emitting a tone and expecting a particular response from the dog, what you're doing there is you are turning that tone into a cue. So it's all in how you train the behavior beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to determine whether or not your cue for the behavior that you want to happen is going to work. First thing is you need the behavior. After the behavior, you can start working on building a cue. Um, and that's a whole process that we can talk about if you want to.
Yeah, I've been trying to teach my dog how to skateboard, and
Okay, here we go. Now we can talk. Okay.
yeah, she gets
Okay.
on the board.
Okay.
And now she just wants treats. Now she won't like perform the trick because she knows that treat, like she doesn't even care because now I've tried to like integrate her to like getting on the board and I'm like, yeah, good job. And she's like, I don't care about your praise. Give me a treat. And that's what she wants afterwards now. So but she
Okay.
has gotten better about it. So she'll perform the trick, but I can tell that she is expecting something afterwards because that's how we got
For
her to do it. But she does know it now.
Okay, so a lot of that has to do with how you phase out the treats, right?
Mm,
So I imagine when you were teaching this particular trick, you were having her get on the board, and every time she got on the board, you gave her a treat, right?
yeah.
Okay, so when you started taking the treats away, did you just up and take them away?
It was like out of the 3 times we did it, she got a treat once. So it was like
Okay,
kind of tried to integrate it or
okay.
integrate. I'm not even saying that right. I'm gonna leave that in there.
And she dropped in her
Yes,
willingness to do that? Okay,
yes.
so you were phasing out the treats too quickly.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe you should have gone to every other instead of once every three. Um, or, maybe two treats and then one without a treat, two treats, one without a treat. Something she needed more of a treat response there, because what you're trying to do is build an existential food response, right? You want the dog to be thinking, maybe I'm going to get food, but I'm doing this because it's really fun.
Yeah.
But the way that they get there is through the food initially.
Yeah.
Sorry, does that answer your question?
No, yeah, it does.
Okay,
Yeah, no,
okay.
thanks for, I'm such a weirdo. I'm like, can you stop there and expand on this? Like, that's my brain.
No, yeah.
So, no, I appreciate you.
Okay.
We skipped it. Let's go back to, I'd like you to just kind of touch base on the adopting from a rescue center.
Adopting for a rescue center. So when you are picking out a dog at an adoption center, you know, so you have a few things against you. Number one, the people who are testing the dogs are not running the dogs through everything that the dog is going to go through when it goes home with you. So there's always going to be this unknown variable of, I have no idea what this dog has been through, and I don't know how the dog's going to react when I get the dog home.
Mm-hmm.
Always keep that in mind. And that being said, it's always important to keep that dog under control. So when you take your new dog home, keep it on a leash, keep it away from cats, children, anything that you might worry about it interacting with. So dog proof or puppy proof your house, and make sure that the dog is learning the rhythms of your home, right? Take them on a nice long walk before you introduce them home. Show them where it is that they can relax and get space if they need to, so in a kennel, and show them how to get food. Those things are really important. But when it comes to picking out a dog, it can be a really tough thing, because a dog at the shelter is not going to act like the dog that you receive 3 months later, right? They're going through a lot of stress in that environment. They're dealing with being kenneled.
They're probably missing their owners. We don't know why they're there.
Right. And, you know, depression affects dogs just like it affects us. Mm-hmm. So, you know, you're definitely going to see different behaviors there than what you're going to see at home. That being said, when you're looking for a dog at the shelter, the first thing is, if you don't want to deal with a lot of behavioral issues, look for a dog that is confident. Don't go for the dog that is huddling away from you, that is giving you a side eye, that doesn't want to interact with you, that's barking at you. Those are the dogs that are going to need a little bit more behavioral work. And I'm not saying don't adopt those dogs. Obviously, if you are ready for a dog like that, go for it. But make sure that you're ready to train.
Right.
If you're going to get a dog like that.
Right.
Okay. Or make sure that you have the right outlets for a dog like that. You know, if you adopt a dog that's jumping at the fence and barking at you, that's a high energy dog that's going to need a lot of energy outlet. And that doesn't start 3 days after you get the dog. That starts when you get the dog.
Yeah.
But the big thing is, if you want a dog that's not going to give you a lot of trouble, look for a dog that is confident. Look for a dog that is approaching the fence, that has a confident, calm personality. If you want a dog that's a little bit more high drive, you want a dog that maybe you can play ball with or fetch with or something like that, bring toys to the shelter so that you can see what the dog does, you know, when you play with the toy outside of the kennel, when you show the dog the toy. A lot of times shelters will let you play with dogs. Just be careful about it though. If they don't test the dogs themselves, you don't want to start playing with the dog and then try to take a toy and have the dog bite you, right? So make sure that the dog has had some kind of temperament test before you just go ham there.
Yeah. And just side note to my viewers, because I love rescue dogs, but I definitely know that if I had a toddler right now, that's not something that's in the books for me, but maybe that's something in the books for me later on when my kids are older or I'm an empty nester. or something like that. So maybe just be patient if your heart is really set on a rescue dog. Take the time to focus on you and your family and raising your kids, because your kids need just as much attention as the rescue dog is going to need. And I wanted to ask this earlier. Do you recommend, because I know it's not like a super normal thing in your routine. Like obviously, if I adopt a dog and I take like a week off of work, obviously like I don't always have a week off of work. So I know that's not a part of my routine. But would you recommend when the dog is like first coming home to take off a few extra days or?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you can take off 1 or 2 days, just to get the dog used to, again, your rhythm around the house, that's going to be huge for the dog. That being on that note, I would keep the dog on a leash, like we said before, and take the dog around with you, when you're home, so that the dog can get used to where you go, what it's allowed to do and not allowed to do in those spaces.
It's a good idea.
You in that situation, you need to guide your new dog into their new existence, or else they're going to try to figure that out on their own. So the more that you can show them, the easier that transition is going to be for them.
So, and I should probably, it's like, how long have I kept you? I just love to keep.
Oh, you're good. I don't know how long this is going to be. You're good.
I'm always over my time. I always do it. And then it's like, I'm never like on my, cause we aim for the hour, but I'm never like ever on it. It's always like when I'm like 15 minutes after and I'm like, oh guys, sorry.
You're good.
So anyways, now I forgot my question. Dang it. Desiree.
So we were talking about bringing dogs home.
Bringing dogs home.
I've also got a puppy. I don't know if you want me to bring this puppy out.
Yeah, I want to see your puppy. I was going to ask how it came back. So if a dog does something you don't want it to do, bite something, like simple, like obviously I feel like there might be some degree, or maybe there's not, I don't know, let's ask you, but when the dog does something you don't want it to do, what's the best way to consistently train it up to do that?
So there are definitely degrees of first, dog temperaments that you need to take into account there, but then second, degrees of things the dog is doing that are going to warrant different kinds of behavior on your behalf there. If it's something like you bring a puppy home and you're working on housebreaking your puppy goes to the bathroom on the floor where it shouldn't, make a loud noise, really get the puppy's attention and pick that puppy up and run outside and make it go to the bathroom outside. The more time you let them feel comfortable about going in the house, the more often you're going to see it, right?
Yeah.
But if it comes to something like a dog acting aggressively toward a neighbor dog through a fence, and say you have that dog on leash, and if you don't know the dog, you don't know if that dog is going to react badly and come back and bite you or bite the leash or something to that end. And so, if a dog is acting aggressively toward another dog or even getting in a fight, you really don't want to put your hands in front of the dog, near the dog's face, in front of the dog. Because you might get bit. It's pretty easy to get bit that way.
Is that where you would recommend like the shock collar or like a noise?
No.
Okay.
Typically an e-collar. So here's the thing with e-collars. Just because I showed an e-collar doesn't mean that you should just go out and buy one and start using it.
Yeah.
E-collars take a lot of training to know how to use them properly. And, every dog is going to need something different when it comes to an e-collar. So always work with a trainer. If you're going to do an e-collar, don't just go out and buy one and expect everything to work out.
Yeah. You should do phone consultations. You should be like, I got a half hour, my time. You should do phone consultations for people's dog. Like, what kind of breed? Okay, here's what I would do in that situation.
I mean, I actually do. I do Zoom. consultations. So
Nice. Okay. See,
yeah,
there
yeah,
we go. Okay.
yeah.
Perfect. We're gonna plug all that information in because that would
Awesome.
be good to call you and be like, my dog's doing this situation. How do I handle this?
For sure. The other thing, I mean, Zoom is great for most things. There are some things that it's really, really nice for me to be there in person for sure.
Yeah.
But but yeah, as far as like basic obedience is concerned, Zoom or even teaching tricks or specialized behaviors is concerned, Zoom is perfect.
Yeah.
So, oh shoot, now I lost. Where were we?
You were gonna bring me a puppy.
I am gonna bring you a puppy.
You don't want to just go out and buy an e-collar.
Yeah, you don't want to just go. We talked about that. There was something. Oh, how to handle a problem.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many different. I mean,
Yeah, obviously, like potty training is completely different than if somebody nipped at if a dog nipped at my child.
yeah, those are two different. Those are two totally different things. Or like a dog pulling on leash, you're gonna handle that differently in comparison to, the housebreaking problem or a dog acting defensively towards somebody.
Yeah.
When it comes to specialized questions, I would just, consult a trainer. Did you have something specialized that you had a question about?
Trying to think of something my dog's doing that I don't like. She's learned how to get into the garbage can. Like
Okay.
because this wasn't something that I bothered to train her off of. She would get into the garbage can if I left it out.
Okay.
And usually it's under the sink. And so
Okay.
like I was cooking, I don't know, I left it out, we ran an errand, and then I'd come home and the garbage would be everywhere. And I'm like, okay, kid, cool. But then, I just put it back under the sink. And then the other day, she opened the door and got into
Wow.
the garbage. Yeah, she's smart. So that wasn't something that I expected because I was just like, I'm not gonna have to train her. Like, we put our garbage away anyways. And I mean, I'm shocked that she's doing it in the first place, but yeah, so I guess in that scenario, let's talk about something that a dog would do, like that you weren't home for, because like in potty training, I don't know if this works or not. I never liked this, to stick the dog's nose in the
Oh yeah, no, that
does that not work at all?
No.
Okay.
With housebreaking, you have to catch it in the moment.
Okay, good to know. So yeah, stop hitting your dogs when they're pooping on the carpet. Catch them so what I did with my dog is I picked up her poop and I took it outside and I went and showed her that it was outside. And then the next time we caught her in action, because it used to potty train. One of my cats had kittens, of course, so we potty train all the kittens. And so you just put them. I mean, they also kind of instinctively love the litter box, but yeah. So I figured the same thing with dogs, and I just pick them up and move them because I wasn't having luck with like, you see this? What's your recommendation sorry.
No, good.
When you're not home and they do something like the garbage, what do you do?
So first off, if you have a dog that's doing something like that, you can, if I
had her in a kennel, this wouldn't happen. So let's talk about, this is exactly, actually, you know what, I think that's, because she is kennel trained, but she likes to hang out with the bigger dog. And so, yeah, we leave her out of the kennel sometimes. And yeah.
So kennels are a great investment because, if you have a dog that you're working on an issue with and you can't work on the issue because you're at work or something, hey, put the dog in the kennel and then work on the issue later. A lot of times the kennel becomes a little bit of a band-aid, so I don't like to, it is good to make sure that you're working on that issue. So when it comes to the garbage, and especially where your dog is now opening the door and getting to the garbage, what we need to do, and I imagine your dog's not doing this when you're watching.
No, and that's what my boyfriend pointed out too. It's like she's actually trained not to do it, which is why because when we come home and she's done something, she feels so guilty. She won't come say hi. She just stays away from us. And that's how we know as soon as we get home that something's happened, because
Okay.
she won't come say hi. So I'm almost thinking that she's like, she knows right from wrong in this scenario.
So, I mean, but she keeps doing it because there's a lot of good stuff in the garbage, according to dogs.
Yeah.
So she's getting something out of it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's either you can just keep the garbage clean, which is a pain, right? The garbage is the garbage because we wait for it to get full and then we put it out, right?
Yeah.
Or you can actually actively work on the behavior. But typically I'm going to do that with restraint and positive reinforcement. So, you know, I might give the opportunity for the dog to go near the trash can, and then when they change their mind and come back to me, I'm going to reward them for that.
Okay.
But we also want them to just totally avoid the trash can. And so this is where aversive tool usage comes in. So if they go and they stick their head in the trash can, they're going to get a little pop on the prong collar or something like that. And then when they make a good decision and they come back to me, cool, they're going to get toys, they're going to get praise, they're going to get food, whatever it is that is a dog party for them. Things are going to be way more fun if they leave that trash can alone. And then once they're ignoring the trash can in my presence, I might do something like put a nanny cam up. And by this point, I've got the dog trained to understanding an e-collar. And I'm standing outside of the house looking at, you know, my iPhone. And so they think they can get away with something. And so I'll sit out there for 20 minutes or something and wait, you know, for them to try something. And as soon as they try something, then they're going to get bumped. And they're going to recognize what's, you know, that they're not supposed to be touching that garbage can.
Yeah. That is so interesting. I'm going to get a nanny cam for my dog.
They're pretty great. But then, you know, the thing is, though, training takes time.
Yeah.
And it takes generalization, right? Just because I train against the trash can in the kitchen doesn't mean that the trash can in the basement is off limits. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
They're gonna see both trash cans as different things for a while.
Yeah.
Until you train them in multiple places.
Toddler.
That trash cans are just not okay, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I'm keeping you so long.
No, you're good. I mean, I'm always down to talk dogs. Ask me questions, please. Anything.
Can I see your puppy?
I've got time. So yeah, absolutely. Let me go get her.
Okay.
Just a sec.
Puppies. Puppy time.
Puppy time.
Oh my gosh, you were so excited.
Oh, this is my crazy puppy.
What's his name?
What's that?
His name, her name?
Her name's Atari.
Oh, cute.
Like the video game system.
Nice.
Yeah, this is one of those dogs that you shouldn't get if you have a family and want a dog for your kids.
Not this one.
Super high energy dogs, as you can see.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is, can you see her?
Yeah. This is the Osama dog.
This is the Osama dog. Yeah, right here.
Hey, you. You smart stinker. She's like, I am all up in your business. Oh my gosh, I love your ear.
They're just barely coming up. I think they've been kind of like doing this for the last few days.
He's so cute. So how long, because I know people send you dogs from all over, and you are, how long do you typically keep the dog for?
Like with an adult or a puppy, or what? It just depends.
I guess both.
Okay, yeah. So it just depends. So typically with adult dogs, I'm keeping the dog for 2 to 3 weeks. And usually if an adult dog is coming to me, they're coming to me for a pretty severe behavioral issue. With puppies, I do a 10-day board and train just to get them off on the right foot. So basically, I do housebreaking. I do kind of like a basic obedience run through with them. They learn little stays and sits and downs and recalls. when I say recall, I mean teaching the dog to come to you when
Okay.
called. And then they get a good little socialization setup before going to their new home.
I think my dog knows there's a dog in here.
Oh, really? This puppy is my puppy. She's going to be training for a sport called Mondio Ring.
Nice.
And so that's obedience and jumps and bite work.
So you named her Atari.
I named her Atari. Yeah.
Good job, Mom.
I had to pick an A name, and so I was like, "Oh, that's perfect. I'll name her."
No, I like it.
After, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty old school.
I like it. And so, do you see a lot of these dogs coming from people that have families?
Unfortunately, they are getting way more popular. People think that they get excited about them because they see them on TV. But the problem is they really don't make that great of pets, and a lot of them end up in shelters by the time they're about 7 months old to 2 years old.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the really
good posts that are like they basically that the dog deserves a home, that somebody could walk them more or do more with them and whatnot. And
yeah.
I mean, not with this particular dog, but those are a lot of posts that I have seen in the past. So that
right. Yeah. And with these particular dogs, they need work. They're
Look at
not,
her.
Yeah, as you can see. This is her on a regular basis. Like, she's,
That's hilarious. I was holding my niece the other day, and every time I would get a good grip on her, and she's just like, gonna move this way, gonna move this way. She's like, she can't sit up on her own yet. I think she's 6 months old. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but she won't hold still. I mean, it's nothing compared to that right now, but
you know what I should do is I should get the little bite sleeve out.
Oh yeah, she'll bite, huh?
And then you can see her on the bite sleeve.
I want to see. I want my viewers to see it. I'm just keeping you so long.
Okay. Yeah. No, you're good. You're good. I mean, what else would I be doing? I'd be hanging out with dogs. I'd be doing exactly what I'm doing right now.
Let's talk more dogs. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do that. Let me go get that bite sleeve, and we'll have some for a second.
Oh man. Oh my gosh. Look at her go.
I hope you're getting all of this.
Yes.
This is yeah. Don't get these dogs.
Because she's so fast.
Okay. All right, so this is a little puppy bite sleeve here. And as you can see, she's pretty excited about it.
Oh, she's like, I know what I get to do. Oh my gosh.
Right onto that thing. This is what these dogs are bred for. Again, this is why they don't make good pets.
Yeah.
But as you can see, she's pretty content to just bite.
And that's not something, how old is she?
She is not even 10 weeks old yet.
Okay, so you didn't train her to bite the arm.
I didn't train her to do what she's doing right now. No, this is all genes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, good girl. Good job. Oh, you lost it.
She's crazy.
I'm gonna get these little snaps on there for you. Listen.
Yeah.
You hear that? There we go.
Wow. Yeah, you could hear it.
Yeah. Just wait until they're adults.
Just imagine, again, like a toddler doing something that they don't want them doing and just.
Right. Yeah. That's why I don't make it.
Scary.
Because, you have to know how to deal with the drives, right?
Yeah.
You can't, this is not something you just correct out of a strong, socially strong dog like a Malinois. Okay.
Yeah. Well, and again, ask yourself why you're getting the dog. Are you getting the dog? So, in my old roommate's scenario, let's say he has wife and family and whatnot, like, great. The dog's perfect for a couch potato dog, and he's a perfect hiking running dog. but maybe this dog would be, I don't know, I'm thinking of a cop that goes home to his family. Like, but I don't even know, like, if that's suitable for him, because wait, do the cop dogs go home with the cops?
They do, but depending on how the dogs are trained, some of them are in the home and some of them are not.
Okay. Because I'm like, I almost think of like service dogs. I never say hi to service dogs because I know they're doing a job.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I've gotten really good about that. Oh, it's so hard.
Yeah,
I always turn to my point. I'm like, look at that cute dog.
Yeah, for sure. But you're doing the right thing because it's the dog's doing a job. It's important for them to not get distracted, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I can bring out the adult.
Oh, I want to see the adult.
Yeah.
Really fast? Is that okay?
Yeah. Should I? Well, I'm not going to bring out a sleeve with him. He's injured, so I'm not going to bring out a sleeve with him.
Okay.
But I'll bring him out. He's a good boy. Okay, I'll be right back.
Oh my gosh, he's crazy. Goodbye, Atari. Your legacy lives on. Literally. That is a very chill cat. Kitty, 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 kitty. Hi, kitty. You don't care. You don't care about crazy dogs. You just want the side of the couch. You don't even care that you're on a show right now. No meows given. That's a big butt.
You see a butt?
You're a big puppy. Oh,
yeah.
Look at your ears.
So this is my big guy. He's got a little allergy something going on right now, but this is my guy.
You look so sweet.
Yeah,
way more calm.
What's that?
Way more calm.
Way more calm. Well, he's also an older dog, and he's had training, right? He gets training every day, so. Yeah.
Hey, no, you look very alert. You look like you're ready to be hyper if you needed to.
Yeah. Here, give me a sec. Here. Yeah. Hey, work. Okay, yeah. Hang on just a second.
Very chill cat. Oh.
We're not going to do that. I don't want him moving around too much because he's injured me.
No, but I heard you said bark, right? And he barked right after.
Well, not really though.
I mean, I could tell he knew what he was doing. I could tell that was trained, right?
Okay, give me just a sec. Give me a sec. We'll do it.
Oh, cutie.
So he's pretty excited about this because he doesn't get to play or do anything right now. Work.
Wow. Strong.
Yeah. Can you hear his snaps?
Yeah.
Hey. No. Work. No.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And you said, so this is the breed you specialize in?
Yeah. Yeah.
So when people send you dogs, they're not sending you all dogs. They're sending you these dogs.
Sometimes. I mean, it kind of just depends on.
No, you have trained other dogs. Never mind. I've heard of other stories. You've trained other dogs.
you know, most of what I get is dogs for basic obedience, people's house pets, stuff like that. That sounds so awful. Most of what I get is dogs that need basic obedience.
Well, I mean, because again, we work full time. Like everybody's busy, so it's hard, and even more so. You're not going to, like, you should be trusting people who have more experience in this than you. And if you're a family person and you're working all the time and you're invested in your family, like obviously you got a dog to also be in the family with you, but there are basic things that you teach your kids, you got to teach your dog, and you're just
absolutely
way more educated on it than we are. So
and you know, that really takes a lot of time out of training. Just the fact that I know what I'm doing, as opposed to somebody who maybe doesn't know what they're doing. The dogs are going to learn things a lot faster with me than they are with a typical owner.
Yeah. And you're located in Utah, but because our group is everywhere, we have people in New York, we have people all over. So you are available over Zoom.
Yes.
You Zoom training kind of, and just either can they show you like what's going on with the dog, or just explain the situation and you can get like kind of a good feel for it?
Yeah, both. I mean, I prefer to see what's going on as opposed to being told, because a lot of times somebody will think one thing and it's actually something totally different. So yeah, so as much video as I can get on whatever's going on, the better.
Cool. So, okay, good to know. Well, thank you so much for all your time. In fact, this is the longest episode we've ever done because I like dogs.
Yeah, awesome. Well, anytime you have dog questions, let me know.
Yeah, and you guys, we will link all of our information below. So just remember, when you're picking out a dog, this is important things to know. Seek professional help if you feel like you're already, in the situation and you're feeling overwhelmed. Don't feel bad that you maybe got a dog a little prematurely. Just buck up and do what you need to do, and let's train your dog and let's go forward. So don't be embarrassed, ask for help is my message today.